We have TT eSports taking on QsQ357. Of course, TT eSports this time on the Legion side, and Q Squad on the Hellborn side. Ophelia and Parasite going to be the blind bands here from TT eSports, followed up by Wild Soul and Keeper of the Forest coming up from Q Squad. So both heroes that happened to be used last game, but also just heroes in general, especially against TT eSports. Not too surprising to see.
Holy junglers, Batman.
Yeah.
As I'll say, Ophelia, Parasite, yeah, and push Wild Soul, Keeper of the Forest. Wild Soul's a very smart blind band right there, as we've seen it blind band consistently in the last couple of days. And then, of course, Keeper of the Forest, very, very strong team fighting hero. I really like to think of him more as a team fighter than a pusher. That ultimate is just pretty much, you press R and everything on the map, really on your screen, gets ulted.
Yeah.
And it's a great, great tool as a follow-up tool, really, or even an initiation tool. But either way, it's very, very strong. There's the locking phase as it has begun. Pebbles is first locked by Slicks, followed up by a Fade, and yet again, Voodoo Jester as the go-to support there for QsQ.
I really think these last 3 matches, maybe we cast them, series even, every single game we see Voodoo Jester at least locked by Q Squad. I mean, there's been a couple of games where maybe it wasn't even picked, but at least locked. I mean, they just really value this hero. And I think it has a little bit to do with the fact that it's one of those cases where, like we talked about a little bit last game, where they're very comfortable with the hero and they feel that it fits very well for them, but they know other teams may not be the most comfortable. So if you lock a hero like that, it really does limit the opposition in terms of who they can ultimately go with. So I think that may have a little bit of thinking to do with Q Squad, specifically SQY, of course, being the captain for the team. But sure enough, we see him again. Bubbles the next lock. And still one more lock to go over here for TT eSports, and then, of course, the final lock from Q Squad.
I think a smart lock. Okay, they do go with the Tundra lock, so tons of powerful heroes right there. I was going to say, yeah, I think that Slick should maybe start to think about locking another Suicide hero because, say they want to take Pebbles out of that lane, or sorry, out of that lock pool first, and say the other 2 Suicides are taken, or if they didn't lock a Suicide hero, Tundra can be played as a Suicide, but say they locked something like, I don't know, Wretched Hag, or, okay, no, that's a bad example.
Soul Reaper.
Soul Reaper, yeah, exactly. Say they locked Soul Reaper, then they'd only have Bubbles to work with. Well, if that's the case, then it's very likely that SQ or QsQ would pick up Bubbles, and then they wouldn't have that opportunity for a strong Suicide hero. Of course, they can pick something in the regular picking phase, but then the final lock comes out. It is going to be Pharaoh coming out for Q Squad, and then the banning phase will begin.
Now, the interesting thing about Pharaoh, of course, remember yesterday, in yesterday's matchup against Orange Esports Malaysia, they blind banded Pharaoh the first game, and then Orange actually picked it up for themselves. Yeah. And in the end, of course, I believe it was played by WTF. In the end, wasn't enough to, of course, lead them to victory. But Jonas and Fan has been apparently playing a mean Pharaoh lately. So, obviously, you didn't see it in the first game, but this time around, he is locked by Q Squad there. So we'll see if we get the chance to see Jonas and Fan playing that awesome Pharaoh as we keep talking about. So Polywog Pri is going to be the first band, though, followed by Jeremiah into Nymphora. And now, of course, 3 more regular bands to go before we enter that all-important picking stage. Draconis, still there. He was blind banned last game. Yep. Just saying. 3 bands left. We'll see.
Yeah, Draconis is there. I mean, all those carries are there. Draconis, Magebane, Silhouette, Dark Lady, FA. Lots of great carries there. Still available. So at this point, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, a hero that was banned last game, I don't even think we really mentioned, but Engineer was actually banned last game. But we do see Draconis being banned there, but Engineer was banned by Q Squad, I think, last game.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, so
I know that TT Sports does like to run Engineer quite a lot with an Engineer, let's say, Magnus lane.
Yeah.
And it does work out very well. Has lots of bursts, so that's probably why.
Yeah, that is a good point. We actually haven't seen that a little bit lately. Couple times even from TT eSports. Tempest is going to be the overall final lock, so we do go through the Draconis Dark Lady, and then, of course, eventually finishes off with Tempest. So here we go. Tralfmador going to try the whole guessing game here. Going to say Glacius.
Yes!
Hey,
okay.
all right, he's 1 for 1.
1 for 1. All right,
9 more to go.
I got to do this fast.
9 more to go. Let's just say Tralf may have bet somebody that he could guess every single pick exactly right. You see him, he's apparently liking the Aluna and Forsaken Archer. Really? Forsaken Archer for Q Squad? Yeah. I think they would go Silhouette over Forsaken Archer personally. I guess Nox has been playing a bit of Forsaken Archer himself lately, so that definitely seems like there's a solid possibility here. Oh, no. Aluna Behemoth now. Okay, so Aluna Behemoth. I'm commentating on your typing.
I'm going to be so mad if it's FA instead of Behemoth.
Aluna Behemoth. I really hope it's Aluna FA now. That would just be really hilarious. They're using a bit of time here, though, on a serious note. About 50 seconds now remaining on their extra time. So SQY thinking about this, as they should be. Of course, that extra time is there to be used. Yeah, so I'm going to go with a Luna silhouette just because I can.
Okay.
Just because I want to join the party.
That's also a viable one. I mean, with Fade still being in the pool there, Luna, come on, baby. Come on! Come on!
It's a Behemoth. I don't think it's going to be Behemoth because they run Voodoo Jester too, so I think that...
I get $1,000, by the way, if I'm right.
This random bet that he had.
If I'm wrong, my girlfriend... No!
Ah, you're wrong! No! You're wrong. You're wrong. What were you going to say there if you're wrong? What is your girlfriend?
My girlfriend has to make milk fat dinner this weekend.
Okay. Well,
she's going to be mad. She doesn't even know about this bet.
She was not informed. Well, milk fat's going to be eating well, I'm sure.
Plague Rider! Okay.
A Luna Plague Rider. What do you make a Plague Rider? I mean, do you think that makes sense here? Despite it not being correct for you, don't be biased.
No, I don't get it because there's a number of suicide heroes on the board, and being second pick, you have higher chance of getting one of those suicide heroes being Bubbles, being Tundra, being Pharaoh. And of course, they did lock Pharaoh themselves, so that would make me suspect that they want to use that hero maybe.
See, this is the hard part of trying to predict in the end. I mean, because obviously, something you may have gone with, but you're not that person. So
I should have kept going.
Everyone thinks different. Yeah, just out of curiosity. But it is Torture Forsaken. That's what you would have guessed, right?
I was going to say Torture for sure, but I don't know about FA.
Torture Forsaken Archer, especially with TT eSports. Forsaken Archer, just so go-to for them. So can't say I'm shocked by that by any means. Now, QsQ has their final pick. You look in the lock pool. There are no carry-focused heroes, so thinking maybe a Mage Bane or a Silhouette here, depending on what they're pretty comfortable with. So
I think Mage Bane would be a little risky, seeing how Fade is still in that pool. Oh, man. See, I should have kept doing it. I would have been only one wrong. But, yeah, they do go with the Silhouette pick. Mage Bane is still strong, but if they do first pick Fade, which they very likely could, I mean, there is Tundra, there is Bubbles, there is Pebbles. There's a lot of great things in there, but I really think, regardless, I think Fade is still going to get picked here, so I'm going to go ahead and say Fade.
Yeah.
Just because he's so strong. And they could also go for Pebbles. I could be wrong in that. Pebbles Glacius is very strong. I also think Forsaken Archers Glacius is very strong, but Fade just provides so much gank potential, and he's been very, very popular lately.
She really has. So Leon, well, I guess Slick's here. We'll see. It's going to be Pebbles, though, so not the strongest finisher trough for you. But Pebbles is the first pick. Of course, you look at that pool, though, still plenty of options. I mean, Voodoo Jester may not be so much anymore because of the lineup that they already have, but I think something like a Fade, a Fade Pharaoh themselves, actually, I could see being a possibility here for our Hellborn team, or maybe something. I don't know. I guess
I think they actually go.
Plague Rider would then have to play. Well, they could do.
They really should Tundra. They really, really should, especially gets to Pebbles. So I'm thinking something like, well, there you go. So they really do like Voodoo Jester, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
And the thing is, here's the problem about this lineup is every one of those heroes is squishy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like a field day for Pebbles. So I worry for them in that sense. I think Fade is very, very strong. They like to run Voodoo. It's kind of a comfort here for them, but they are all so squishy. And they don't. I mean, they do have late game. Sorry, with Silhouette. I was gonna say they didn't, but. I think it's going to be hard to get to that point, and I think even if they do get to the late game, their supports are going to get picked off before the team fight even begins. That's what I fear for them. So,
yeah, you're definitely right. So that's some scary news for QsQ357. So we'll see how that plays out for them, of course, when it's all said and done. And that on top of, again, like I said, Forsaken Archer picked up by TT eSports. They also happen to get Pebbles, who, we'll see if he is ended up playing by Slicks, but a dangerous Pebbles player himself. And then, obviously, Pharaoh is the final pick, actually, from TT eSports. So they'll go ahead and pick up Pharaoh for themselves, as he was, of course, a part of that lock pool because of QsQ. But TT eSports ends up going with him. So, I mean, I look at that TT eSports lineup. It's a good amount of gotcha potential, great team fight, solid push, great carry. It really just looks like an all-around, well-put-together lineup over here.
It really does. They are a little bit squishy themselves, too. I mean, Fade could have a very good time if he gets a good start. I feel like he's going to get dual lane mid. Hopefully they're able to respond with that. Maybe a Fade, a Luna lane, and then like a Voodoo Silhouette. So actually, they do have strong lanes now that I look at it, and if that's what they actually decide to do, what I'm looking at from TT eSports is probably going to see this Suicide Pharaoh. They're all actually marching up here. They want to make sure.
Suicide.
Yeah, they actually want to make sure that they get this fight here. Maybe they have a thought that they actually do have a little bit stronger of a team fight level 1. Are we going to, what, are you thinking Kongor?
No, they're not going to. They don't have any type of team for Kongor, so that wouldn't make any sense. But they were heading in that direction, so initially I was like, no way. But this team doesn't make any sense to me as a Kongor team, so It's not going to be.
You know, if anyone, actually, Legion could have done it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking, do they have Pharaoh? No, they don't have Pharaoh. That's on the Legion side. So, yeah, they are just going for kind of a gank, a little bit more sneaky-like. But in the end, as you see on the mini-map, neither side going to remotely get close to one another. And it will end up being placing the wards and then eventually falling back to your lanes here. So, unfortunately, no level 1 Conqueror happening. We've had one level 1 Conqueror this whole event. So that was a lot of fun to watch, of course. And
that was shout out to Gendy's Jungle.
Gendy's Jungle.
Gendy's Jungle Devos.
Yeah.
Or Mega Beavers.
Those guys, yeah.
Anyway, with this game, they do get the ward up here. Riser gets that ward sight off. And it's going to prevent the pull there. So they're going to have a strong suicide laner in Pharaoh. And he's going to have, I think, a relatively okay time because they did ward that. But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting. I think the lanes are equally strong as long as they do dual lane mid with Fade. And it is going to be Fade Aluna mid. So I do approve of that.
Yeah. That's good for them. Of course, Silhouette and Voodoo Jester are going to be top, and that will leave the Plague Rider suicide. As you suspected, Pharaoh is going to be suiciding top himself. You got the Glacius Pebbles mid, one of the most powerful and worst lanes to go up against. And then, of course, Forsaken Archer, Torture at the bottom lane, another actually pretty deadly lane in its own right. And Plague Rider will need to be a little bit careful not to get caught out himself. So, yeah, I'm looking at these Legion lanes. That's definitely a possibility of being pretty powerful for them. Of course, for Pharaoh at this top lane, he will be taking some heavy harassment, but Pharaoh can definitely take a decent amount of damage, and he can fight back himself. You see right here, he puts up the mummy wall, actually, and he's going to say, go battle to battle with me. And with that shield especially, that will mean he'll win that battle. So Voodoo Jester does have to kind of sneak away, but of course takes advantage of the fact he has the range. So early on, it's going to be a case of getting some farm here, of course, but there is potential really in this middle and bottom lane, I think, for some kills to happen, so we'll see.
Yeah, definitely. Support Tord is a... I love it. I think it's very, very strong. Normally, I like to see the chain reaction impalement build for a number of reasons. I think impalement, of course, it has that ability to push if you decide to, but it's also one of those abilities that some action, actually some aggression here in the mid lane. Pebble's taking a little bit of harassment and doesn't have a shield, by the way. But the impalement build, I think it's nice because you can just couple auto attacks and just press a button, and you don't have to worry about it. It's doing damage over time, so it's very, very effective in that regard. But top lane Pharaoh actually gets the proper lane positioning. This is what I'm talking about, how important it is to actually get that ward. And now with that change to the hard camp, it's not like if, say, they miss or screw up lane control, they're able to just pull the hard camp and then gain it back. Nope, you're going to have to actually counter the ward or just prevent it from being placed in the first place. So Pharaoh's going to get a lot of free experience here in the top lane, and that is not good for Q Squad.
About what just happened right here, we rarely see this. Look at the middle lane, a pull going on a double-stacked yellow camp here by Whitelaba. So that's going to push up the lane. What do you make of what's going on here?
I didn't even see them actually do that, but...
He just did it, yeah.
I'll have to watch the replay and see how he accomplished that, because it feels like it's so far away. So unless he found a way to kind of bug it and aggro it twice. I have heard that you can actually do that, where you aggro it, you stand in a very specific spot, and you actually re-aggro it. But that's got to be... I'm sure that mid lane is scratching their heads a bit.
Yeah.
But that's a huge deal. That's a very big deal. So Luna and Fade are going to miss out on a little bit of experience. Fade did go get the bottom rune there, so good job by him. Actually some aggression here coming out on Pebbles. Voodoo Jester is there with the cast, but it's not going to be enough damage, so he'll be just fine. So yeah, that pull, more so than the fact that Glacius got free XP and denied mid experience as well. So
yeah, you're right.
I'll have to go back and watch that.
I'm curious too, because I just got the tail end of it as they were going back into the camp. So I saw him double stack. I just figured he was going to triple stack it, though. That's what I thought he was going to do. You see right here, he is going to try to stack it in time, and he is going to be successful. So maybe Whitelaba will look to do it again, and we'll get a better idea of how exactly he did it. But yeah, I was very interested. He's going to go right here. Yeah, he is. He's going to attack it. It's going over. It's just close enough. Oh, it didn't aggro everything. It killed the Snider bot. The tower actually killed it. So I don't know. That's very interesting. I am curious too to see how he actually did that. But anyways, of course,
well, my guess is what happened is right there. You see the tower actually aggroed it.
Yeah.
So maybe the tower aggro and the very tail and right there, the very edge of the pole, actually triggered the aggro from the as I'm rambling on, some stuns are happening. No, okay, nothing's happening, but actually triggered the aggro coming out from the regular creeps in the mid lane. Because I don't think that if they just aggroed themselves, it wouldn't have been in range. Actually, some action in the Pebbles. The casts are doing lots of damage. Some perfect bounces right there. They do get the Bloodlust kill. Actually, Style is able to pick up that Bloodlust kill, by the way, guys. So if you did vote Style for this game, you're
eligible.
You could be. Yeah, you're eligible. I'm not going to say you're the winner, because obviously there could be multiple people that said Style, but Yeah, so Style, he does pick up that Blood. Let's go. Really lucky casks there. Or I should say Acid Cocktail.
Top lane in the meantime. Silhouette being chased down. 7 seconds on that Tormented Soul, but I don't think it's going to be in time. It is only level 1, and Silhouette should have enough regen going on. But how about that? Somehow a level 5 Silhouette against level 4 Pharaoh nearly falls. Again, I just got the tail end of that, but Pharaoh seems like he's doing some work up there at the top lane. Of course, Riser playing Pharaoh. And speaking of that, Aluna has adjusted to the bottom lane. She's actually been down here for a little bit. And, of course, Voodoo Jester adjusted to the middle lane. So there was some support adjustment that went on that we didn't really address here. You know, so focused on this mid lane pull, which was attempted again right there, but looks like it did fail that time. But, yeah, they move Aluna down here to the bottom lane. That's a big one. What do you make of that move?
I just think they realize that they don't really need one of these supports top. They feel like Silhouette can hold her own at the top. I say that, but it's actually funny because, like you mentioned, Riser almost got a kill on him. Of course, he doesn't have as good of a CS score, or a creep score, I should say, as Silhouette. But still, it's going to take some pressure. I imagine Silhouette after that exchange, maybe you're going to go for a life tube here very, very quickly as soon as she gets that 875 gold. But yeah, they just realize they don't need that extra support. They want to put him in a lane where they can actually do something with him. And so Aluna has walked here to the bottom lane. And it should be okay. I mean, Plague Rider is level 5. That nuke is doing a considerable amount of damage. And yeah, they just want the double range against this Forsaken Archer lane.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense there.
Who, by the way, is being played by Moravis, not Slicks.
Well, yeah, I was actually noticed that too. That's a good point to bring up. Moravis, of course, he too tends to play, you know, carry. Obviously, when he was with Clan Milk, especially, he definitely played occasionally that carry style role. Slicks, that's they have both Pebbles and Forsaken Archer, two heroes that Slicks will play so much. So again, he can only play one. He is a great player. Hell, if you given the option, I'm sure he would try to play two, but
Voodoo's in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, Voodoo Jester going to get caught right here. Wrath of the Pharaoh. There goes the Mummy Wand. Voodoo Jester is going to end up flying. Nice job with the Acid Cocktail, actually. It does bounce. But in the end, of course, just too much pressure. So great job by Pharaoh, though, at the same time, taking advantage of being level 6 and right away sets up a gank. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Forsaken Archer actually goes down to Plague Rider Aluna, as they noticed apparently Torture was missing. So great pressure from them, just got catching the tail end of that. And they now have a 2-to-1 hero code advantage as a result.
Invis Rune picked up by Fade. Torture's in a lot of trouble. Fade does not have boots, though, although Aluna does. And she's trying to get in range with the stun. She breaks down those trees. She does get the stun. Plague is there with level 6 as well. Doesn't really need his ultimate. So good roam coming out from all three of those heroes. Just really good movement there. Getting a kill on Leon Black right after they got a kill on Moravis playing that Forsaken Archer. But I did want to mention, actually, Fade's in a little bit of trouble. Has those Ghost Marchers have activated. Does get the stun. There's the follow-up stun. I think this could be scary. I feel like Slicks could turn it around, but he wasn't exactly at a great position there. Plague is here. Just use that nukes. It doesn't have enough mana to ultimate, unfortunately. But nonetheless, a little bit of wasted time coming out from the Legion's side.
Yeah.
But I did want to mention something. Oh, yeah. I actually did remember a game, though, where they had both Pebbles and Forsaken Archer drafted, and they did a complete swap. It was Moravis playing the Pebbles, and Slicks playing that Forsaken Archer. So.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's just really just preference on the spot. If case like I feel like playing Pebbles this game, so I'll go ahead and play him. Yeah. Very likely could be the case. So, but yeah, and maybe Slicks did play that technically the carry role last time as well, playing the Pestilence, of course. So. Pebbles, though, he's going to be pushed up a little bit, right? It's almost as if he's baiting, though. They're trying to get this jump to happen from the Hellborn side because you look at Pharaoh and Torture both being near, but Pharaoh says, screw it, I'm going to go in with the Wrath of the Pharaoh. Fade taking a lot of pressure. Nice job with the cracked, the Acid Cocktail, though, coming out from Voodoo Jester on top of the Cursed Ground, but obviously just not enough to prevent the death on a Fade right there. Power Throw, I don't think it hit Pebbles. And so he'll be able to get away from that. And the rune is going to spawn bottom, however. Pebbles is going top and happens to be a regenerate, so that would have been really good for him. Pharaoh's going to try to go down here and cut off Voodoo Jester, which he is going to be successful with. So very good job right there, actually. And he bottles it up for himself. So he happened to go bottle, actually, himself, despite being that Suicide Pharaoh. Worked out right there as he's actually going to give it to Pebbles. And some good sharing going on. That's always good to see. Sharing is caring over here for TT eSports. Plague Rider's still farming away at the bottom side. Not that that means a whole lot, but granted, he does have Steam Boots finished himself, and his creep farm actually isn't the worst. He has 240 gold per minute on top of that. So overall, right now, though, the big picture, Q Squad is leading this game right now, both in golden experience, and Silhouette, man, knocks on Silhouette. He is free farming this top lane, especially right now here.
Yep, he has been left alone for quite some time. Pharaoh, yeah, you did mention about the bottle. I think it's a fine pickup on him. It's going to give him some decent regen, especially when you have a low mana pool. But your spells actually cost a little bit, quite high. I mean, compared to how much mana he has. He only has 300 max. His ultimate costs 150. So you're right there. You're taking out half of your mana. But if you're able to replenish it very quickly with a bottle, it's actually a good pickup. I like it. But anyway, I'm rambling on about a bottle. They are definitely in the lead Q squad. That is 2,000 in gold and experience. And Molly's actually picked up some decent items. I did want to say, though, that before Fade died in, she's actually trying to get a pick off on a Liam Black who has no items, not even boots. I think it is going to be successful. One more auto attack. Yep, she will get the kill. She's in a little bit of trouble, though. She's going to run into a Pebbles. She gets the port out. Will it be successful? The stun might come out, but no. Pebbles, or Slicks, that is, playing that Pebbles is not going to get all that stun. So good gank coming out from Style.
They had the courier there that was going to give them vision, so maybe even eyes imprisonment or anything. But yeah, just a little bit too slow. And in the end, he was able to get away. So definitely a great gank indeed coming out from Style, playing that Fade. Of course, he got the Bloodlust kill, and now he's off to a 3-1 start, actually. So farming 300 gold per minute. I mean, just mentioning his silhouette, but yeah, he is also having a hell of a game here in favor of the Hellborn team. By the way, Luna right there, she just used a red power throw to actually at least attempt to try to stack this this creep camp here, but unfortunately it was just a little bit too late, and they got back in time. So a good attempt, though, nonetheless. Pebbles, in the meantime, he's going to take a curse of ground. He goes back with the stalagmites on a Voodoo Jester, but in comes that call from Fade. The hero block, he says, get off me, bitch, but it's not going to be enough. I believe the curse of ground will eventually take him down with one more tick, and in fact, he stays alive barely. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, though, Pharaoh, he did use the Wrath of the Pharaoh, but I think he may have caught a creep, actually. I was watching Pebbles. I heard it go off, but nothing really happened of it. So, wow, Pebbles, he had to be maybe 10, 15 life right there.
It was like 8.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now that's one of the things. I mean, Voodoo Jester is only level 4. You guaranteed if he was level 5, that would have been a kill. But very, very close nonetheless. Voodoo Jester's walking in here. He did walk into plain sight. White does have a ward up here. So they're going to see him walk into here, placing a ward. It's going to be an aggressive ward behind here. He's going to be in a lot of trouble, actually. Glacius does spot him out. He does have boots. Glacius is level 5, but Voodoo is going to muster away and get out of here. No, actually, he's not. There's the slow coming out. And Pharaoh, good cast, but I think Voodoo Jester is still going to be a lot of trouble. Actually, the ultimate from Pharaoh is still on cooldown. Voodoo Jester might be fine.
And here comes Fade, actually opening from behind, puts the call, the Burning Shadows over to use. Silhouette joins the party, takes out Glacius, and Pharaoh will just have to push him away. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Forsaken and Pebbles combo to take out Plague Rider. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange in that sense. But yeah, great escape from SQY there on Voodoo Jester in the end. Fade is now back in the middle lane with that invis activated. He'll open though on the creep wave and just continue to farm with it. So yeah, we have some pretty good entertainment here early on, a 5-3 hero kill advantage in favor of Q Squad right now, as we're only now just really 11 minutes and 40 seconds in. Slicks is now trying to farm this bottom lane, you see, as actually a Forsaken Archer is going to go to the jungle a little bit, perhaps going to fall all the way back to base even to get the regen on. In the meantime, though, top tower going down in favor of Silhouette. 435 gold per minute. Nox is just a machine right now, 12 minutes into this game.
Yeah, he's doing really, really well. And Q Squad's playing this correctly. They don't really need to help him up there. They just want to have him free farm, and he's pushing the tower at the same time. So now he's going to just kind of jungle right here. If they were the icing on the cake is if he right now stacked this camp, or sorry, pulled this camp right now, I feel like it would still kill this creep wave, even though it's a wolf and just one wild hunter. The wolves give extra damage. So yeah, see, if he stacked it or pulled it right there, it would have killed off the creep wave completely. He could have just, or Silhouette that is, could have just been in the jungle farming, while someone else could have just taken a bunch of experience up there in the top lane. But nonetheless, they are at a very good lead. 4,600 in gold, about 4K in experience. And right now, the game is in their hands. Pebbles is trying to get closer to that portal key. He actually doesn't have steam boots yet finished, so that's kind of interesting. Normally, we see those steam boots. Oh, he just bought them right there. So
yeah,
kind of comboing up in the jungle here, trying to increase his farm. It's going to be a bit of a later portal key than we see in most Pebbles games.
Yeah, definitely, especially for Slicks. You know, it really is going to be delayed for him. So that's obviously, again, some more good news coming up for QsQ357. You know, not to bring up bad memories by any means, though. Of course, the last game, no, by all means, it was a different kind of an advantage that they had. At this time around, I think it's even more comfortable for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But still, TT eSports did come and really just play so aggressive that just really seemed to catch them off guard.
Oh,
and
Pebbles.
In the end. But yeah, Pebbles. Oh, no, Pebbles. It's not worth the last attack. In comes the power throw completely misses. She was going for the middle lane there, but Pebbles should still be dead. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that was Aluna just not spotting her. She was going for Pharaoh, actually. You see, Pharaoh barely died. So that was probably what she was eventually going for. Does she have a red power throw? She does. Is she going to use it? No, she is not, apparently. So in the end, Pharaoh will survive. I'm still waiting. Okay,
I know.
Oh, there she uses it right there. She uses it, but it's a little bit too late. Yeah, he's going to start regenning, and it does hit him, but he's fine in the end. So good attempt there from Male, playing that Aluna, but not enough for the kill. But yeah, they caught Pebbles in the jungle. He was farming just the yellow stack right there, and Slicks is not having the best start for himself. So
well, neither is Moravis. I mean, he's got very minimal farm, 250 gold per minute, 63 CS. But I mean, look at his items. I would expect there to be much more than just the Steam Boots, Ring of the Teacher, and investments. Unless there's something else in the career, I don't see anything there. Or in the stash, perhaps, but yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. Only 250 gold per minute. You compare that to Silhouette, who, after clearing some camps, or actually a creep wave, I should say, is almost 500 gold per minute. So level 13, by the way, that's 5 levels higher than anyone in the Legion squad.
Wow.
So yeah, she is having a game right now. 123 CS, 14 minutes in.
Yeah, Nox, you know, a player that comes to mind that we've been really praising lately for being, especially in the carry role, Noob G for Trademark Esports. He's definitely been a player that's kind of been exploding under the scene, very, very successful for his team. Nox is another player. I mean, honestly, for QsQ357, he's continued to impress us here lately when it comes to his play and when it comes to just his consistency as far as being the carry player for the team. And yet again, another very impressive performance here. As you said, 123 creep kills. That really is ridiculous. Only 15 minutes into the game. Level 13, just ridiculous how, well, the stats are just so much in his favor. So 478 gold per minute. He's going to push this bottom tower now. He is baiting a little bit because he does have support nearby in the background, but Forsaken Archer says, screw it, I'm not even going to worry about the bottom tower. I'm going to port mid instead and do a counter push. And this is what TT Esports definitely is good for, or it's what they do often. You know, might as well take advantage elsewhere if you ain't going to get at the bottom lane. So smart choice by them. Will they even get it in the end? That was the question. We do see the bottom tower dropping just as quickly. It is going to fall around the same time, though. Middle tower will go down, and the bottom tower will also fall here. So, yeah, it ends up being a 1-for-1 tower exchange. Top tower being pressured a little bit by Slicks, but he is just by himself currently, so we'll need to be a little bit careful. In fact, the ports are coming in, and Slicks, he a little bit late reaction. We'll get the Stalagmites off in time. That may be the saving grace. Here comes the Ghost Marchers from Fade, though. Burning Shadows looking to be casted. He put the taunt on first. The Burning Shadows comes out. There's the Grave, or the Acid Cocktail. The Pharaoh ultimate misses, and Pebbles will eventually fall, especially with the Crystal Ground on him. So down he goes, but now Pharaoh trying to turn this around with Forsaken Archer. Good piercing outside of the crippling volley, but the ultimate coming out from Plague doesn't bounce too much, though, and no deaths as a result of it in the end. But Silhouette's here for a cleanup crew at the top lane. He comes in with the Death Lotus ready, takes out Forsaken Archer. Gonna drop Torture in the end. Nice power throw from Ali right there. Double tap coming out, and Pharaoh will port out before he gets killed to complete the genocide. But Q Squad is in such a dominating spot right now.
That was a really unfortunate missed hook there by Riser. I think it made quite a big deal, but nonetheless, really good job, I got to say, by Jonas and Fan. Getting that, he knew he was going to die, but still getting that ultimate off right before he died was so important, especially that fight, because it was actually looking close. It was looking at that point that any team could take that fight.
Yeah.
But that Plague ultimate did do a lot of damage, spread quite well, and so good job by him. Fade, by the way, 3,000 gold pooled up, so. I'm interested to see what he gets. He does go Tablet of Command, actually.
They're doing against Pharaoh.
It is. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's very, very good against Pharaoh. Not the greatest against Forsaken, not the greatest against Glacius, but it's still a good item overall. It's just not typically what we see on a Fade who has this good a farm. Normally we like to see a very, very fast Codex, or maybe something like a Portal Key to get very, very good initiation to begin the fight.
Yeah, I think those two items that you said right there actually would have been very solid choices for Fade by all means, especially a Codex. If you can get it this early on in a game and you're starting to snowball like this Fade kind of is style, of course 237 gold per minute, looking very good for the team. And you got this Legion side. You know, we talked about the Hellborn team. They're the ones that are maybe a little bit squishy, but right now the Legion team, you know, they ain't too tanky themselves. I mean, you got Pebbles up there. Pharaoh, of course, maybe a little bit more difficult, but especially Torture and Glacier is very susceptible to getting ganked. So you could argue that may have been the more fun choice in the end. But he does go the Tablet of Command like we were talking about. It definitely has its uses. And it does provide stats as well for Fade in the long run. So a solid choice when it's all said and done. A middle lane push perhaps going to be coming here from Q Squad. They are grouped up. Level 15 Silhouette. He's 5 levels higher still than everyone on this Legion team. That ridiculous. And only 18 minutes into the game.
And 5 levels higher is a bigger deal too once you start getting up into a higher level.
Yeah.
Because it requires more experience to level up, obviously. Yeah. All you WoW players out there. But,
he could have his level 3 ultimate before anyone on the Legion team has level 2 ultimate. I mean, you think of it that way too. Ridiculous. So middle tower is going to be pushed down here. 0 resistance because they were pushing the bottom tower in the meantime. So again, some kind of making the best of a bad situation there for TT Esports, but it still is overall a bad situation here. By the way, Silhouette, we're focused so much on the numbers, but look at her item. She did go Nullstone into Whispering Helm, and she has another 1650 gold saved up. So she's going more of a passive farming route, even, you could say.
Oh, actually some action here in the mid lane. Fade does open up. There's some sentries there. Big Plague ultimate. Bounces, bounces, bounces. Really great bounces. Pharaoh does initiate as well, but he's in a lot of trouble. Slicks gets taken out by Nox. Nox doing so much damage. Pharaoh's in a lot of trouble as well. He's going to fall as well. That is almost a wipe. Forsaken Archer is the only one to live, but wow, Q Squad taking this game, banging on all cylinders right now.
Really are. I mean, it's almost as if they're fighting with a reason here. They really game number 1, of course. They had their chance. I'm sure they realized that too. Maybe a little bit of frustration coming out, a little bit of, we did have our chances. Let's go into game number 2 and show that we belong here in the series and show that we can definitely defeat TT Esports. And right now, they really are just true dominance, and it is impressive play. It's not like it's just flukes by any means. I mean, they've been doing this lately. They're coming together, performing together as a team. Again, Nox doing a superb job on his carry role, but it really is more than that. We keep talking about style a lot, especially this game, on that fade, the success that he's had. Plague has landed some nice play goose, and some very good, smart decisions by him. So, yeah, all across the board, it's very solid play coming out from Q Squad, and I know I said there at the end, I think that's GG. They didn't call it, though. We're only 20 minutes into the game, so very, very early on, but 11,000 gold lead, nearly 12,000 experience lead. Your Forsaken Archer, in this case Moravis, he's okay, 280 GPM, but, again, you're comparing that to somebody that's 300 more gold per minute higher than him, only 20 and a half minutes into the game.
I know it.
It's silly. I mean, a Firebrand has already been purchased by Silhouette, and she has another 1,000 gold saved up, and she's killing double-stack Ancients right here.
Yeah, she's having a good game, and there's actually already the vote to concede. 20-minute concede vote coming out from TT Esports. I do know that they're a team that does like to fake concede a little bit.
A little bit,
so it's actually not past it.
Oh, okay.
There it is. So they're not going to tease us.
There may be a little bit of indecision there because of how long it took. But in the end, I mean, usually I'm not a huge fan of seeing big early concedes, especially in a matchup like this. But
yeah,
it was over. I mean,
yeah, neither am I. I definitely agree with that. I can agree with you there that I don't like seeing hasty concedes, but I agree. There was really nothing else that they could do in that game. And Silhouette, I mean, look at that, almost 200 creep kills in 20 minutes, 600 GPM, and they were just taking every fight. The Plague Ultimate, I got to say, the hero that made me lose the bet, not the Behemoth, but the Plague, actually did work that game. So props to Jonas and Fan.
Yeah, it definitely was an impressive performance, really, for Q Squad as a whole. Again, I know they have their standouts, specifically Nox, of course, as we talk about, especially being the carry player. Really just looked at him, and over 600 gold per minute, over 700 experience per minute. He's 5 levels higher than anyone else in the Legion team for a good amount of that game. So just really all around an impressive performance. And that goes back to the beginning of the game where I think you agree with me, at least, where I looked at TT Esports' lineup, and I'm like, this is an awesome lineup. I mean, they have a very powerful, well-put-together team, but really Q Squad just seemed to outplay them that game in the end. So I don't think it really came down to picks. I think it just came down to simply better play from QsQ357. So
yeah. I think it's a little bit of both, but I definitely agree with you. I think Fade proved to be a very, very good pickup for them. It's just the map control and being able to have that clear vision in fights, especially there at the top left where we saw Slicks trying to juke in around the trees, and unfortunately the missed Pharaoh hook from Riser. But still, Fade, even with having, after he initiated no HP, he had the ultimate activated, but still gave tons of clear vision around the area. And that definitely helps in a team fight, especially when you're fighting in between trees and things, and you want that perfect vision. So
yeah, again, all-around impressive performance from Q Squad, and the great thing about that, we're going to game number 3. Because everything is on the line, the chance to get some prize money at the very least out of this, if not, of course, that trip to DreamHack 2012. Going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned, guys. Before we do go out here, though, real quickly, of course, as I said earlier, there was a contest that game to see who would win the 500 gold Goblin coins in game as a result of guessing who's going to get the bloodlust kill. Of course, the answer was Style, ended up being, and we have selected a winner. So, congratulations to.
Well, actually, Breaky, we were going to kind of go through randomly and figure out who it is. So I'm just going to search this Twitter page, which has all the tweets that went to you, and I want you to tell me when to stop.
They can hear you, by the way, right?
I know, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
So I'm holding down Enter. It's scrolling through the page.
Okay.
Say when to stop, and I'll tell you the winner.
Stop.
Okay, the winner is Tyrone Johnson at GL Bimoni, please. Style will get the bloodlust because he is badass.
There you go. He is badass indeed. So Tyrone Johnson, I believe you said?
Yep.
So congrats to whoever that is. Well, of course,
I didn't even hear.
Tyrone Johnson, I believe. Oh, so you weren't able to hear that?
No.
Okay, well, anyways, stuff was happening. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
Tyrone Johnson, congratulations to you. You'll be getting those 500 gold goblin coins, and we'll just figure out we'll get your username. And, oh, you got to be following me, though. Yeah. He wasn't following me then. Oh, well, now we have to do another one real quickly. Okay, yeah, so you got to be following. There you go. Musty for the win? This is going so fail. Let's just choose somebody. There was 2 rules. Guess, and then also be following. There you go. He wins. All right, so congratulations. Congratulations to... Oh, well...
All right, I'm sorry. We had a lot of problems. The winner is Stefan Endres at SFECMA. And he tweeted Breaky and said... Hang on one second. Well, whatever.
Stefan Endres. That's what matters. So he's going to be winning those gold coins. We'll figure out his username. Anyways, the ultimate point of this is that, as these casts go on and on, we're going to start doing more and more of this. So just expect this, whether it's through our Twitter, my Twitter, your Twitter, just whatever else. Just look out for that, and it's a way for us to interact with you and have some fun with it. So, anyways, we got to take a break here, guys, because Game 3, of course, is just around the corner. So sit tight. We'll be right back. Game number 3 between QsQ357 and TT eSports coming up next. All right, welcome back, guys. Game number 3, in fact, just has started right now, so not too much of a break there. Hopefully you enjoyed, grabbed a quick snack, a drink, whatever, but you are back. You're watching some Honcasts, in case you forgot, and of course we got a great third game coming up, QsQ357 taking on TT eSports. Winner moves on, loser is done. Trelf, are you ready?
I'm definitely ready. Game 3, guys, so it's going to be epic.
It really is going to be epic, especially with the way the first 2 games went. Game 3, man, we're going to have a 2-hour game at least. It's just going to take no, we'll see. Let's jump into the game now because, like I said, both teams have actually loaded up and are good to go. We're at the selection stage, after all. Of course, that's the blind band stage, which actually hasn't finished yet. But will be QsQ357 on the Legion side, and TT eSports will be on the Hellborn side. So once we are eventually in, see, double or nothing. You down to take that bet, Charles?
Sam wants to bet with me again.
You want to go for it again?
What's double on dinner? Like you get another
next
dinner
weekend as well. Apparently, I don't know. It's up to you, though. Of course, if you would like, not to peer pressure.
$2,000 if I win.
That is $2,000 if you guess all 10 heroes correctly.
You know that's probably harder than like predicting a brackets of the. No, okay.
Probably it probably is harder.
I mean, look at all the heroes. Look at
okay. But look at all the possibilities.
No, but this is much more predictable, I think, than all the.
Anyways, we are in the game now. Blind bans are Wild Soul Keeper the Force from Q Squad, just like the last game, and Ophelia and Fade actually on TT eSports. So they're respecting that Fade there. We don't have the blind ban on there.
Yeah, the Fade. Sorry, I just keep looking at that Voodoo Jester log. Like, it just seems. It's not even like the hero's as bad. It's just funny to me because I feel like there's other heroes as well that support just as well, if not better. I don't know.
So I'm just gonna
I will say, like I mentioned last game, that Voodoo Jester does gank well. The cask is an automatic hit. Does have a chance to bounce, and we saw some good bounce.